For over the past decade, I have been buying, building, and installing aftermarket modifications onto Jeep Wrangler vehicles. Now, this list that I'm about to go over is subjective to the things that I probably wouldn't do again. This entire channel is built about using your Jeep and building it the way that you want to. So if you don't agree with them, more power to you, and I say go for it and add those modifications onto your Jeep. And if you want to argue with me in the comments, I'd love to chat down there. As you know, we respond to all the comments. It's your Jeep, build it exactly how you want to. These are just some things that I probably wouldn't do again. Headlight or tail light guards. There's a wide variety of these available on the market, and for a JL Wrangler, I would say I would never install these things. Unless you are looking for the look of it and you really enjoy that style. I'm not bashing anything about style in this video, so if you like the way it looks, I would say 100% go for it. But when it comes to the actual utilitarian use, they don't really do much. They're pretty expensive, and they go so closely to the headlight or taillight that if anything does hit them, it's gonna damage them just as badly. Brian and I were just talking, back in the day in the YJs and TJs, you could get bigger taillight guards and front mesh guards for the YJs, headlights, and turn signals in the front. And if you would hit things with those, it would actually protect them. Nowadays for the JL and Gladiator, they're just not gonna protect it. So I would say if you're looking for protection, that's not gonna be the way to go. Number 6, wheel spacers. This one's very controversial once again. Wheel spacers have been around for a very long time. Basically what they do is bolt onto your wheel mounting surface and give you an extra inch, inch and a half, inch and 3/4, so you can run a larger tire on a factory wheel. You can poke it out wider so you won't hit any of the control arms at full lock. But overall, I just don't run them. I'm kind of a guy that likes to have less is more. So when I look at that, I have 5 extra bolts that I need to then check, I need to torque, and I'm spacing it out about 1.5 inches. I know if you run an aftermarket wheel that has the proper back spacing, it's still poking it out as far. I just don't put the full trust into a billet or an aluminum spacer. It's one of those things that I've never liked to do. I'd rather upgrade the wheel and spend a little bit more than to run those on there. And the next thing is that in most states, they will not pass inspection with the wheel spacers. So you end up having to pull them off to go in to get it inspected and then reinstall them. It's kind of just a mess when you could just put the right offset and be done with it right off the bat. Number 5, drilling in and adding body armor to your JL Wrangler. This one's gonna be really controversial for the guys that go out there and wheel the snot out of their Jeep. I've personally installed the Evo Manufacturing corner guards on my JK. I had to drill a bunch of holes. I had one of the rib nuts actually slip. It wouldn't let the Allen key bolt actually get tight, so that kind of stuck out a little bit. And at the end of the day, I never hit them on the trail. So I installed these corner guards, had to drill probably 10 to 15 holes on either side. And at the end of the day, I kind of damaged the body panel too. So I had to drill all those holes, which gives the potential for rust, the potential for kind of crinkling underneath there. And I probably would only do this if I already damaged the panel. So if I damaged the corner and I needed to cover it up and give it some more protection because I'm going out that crazy, that's when I would do it. But I would say, for me, I stick away from it right away in the beginning. You've got a brand new Jeep. I hate to drill holes in it unless you really, really need to. Number 4, a cold air intake. I will say on a JL with a 2-liter, with a 3.6, or even with a 3-liter diesel, adding a cold air intake doesn't increase the performance in any way that I would really like it to. I would say you're gonna spend $400 to $500. You're gonna eliminate a very close to watertight system that comes from factory, and you're gonna add on something that's probably not gonna increase your horsepower or torque anywhere to where it would actually be a nominal increase that you would feel at the seat of your pants. And you're just opening yourself up to other issues. If you guys have a running and open cold air intake that just has a filter there, you are susceptible to any water, any moisture getting into your engine. And as you know, water going into intake does not agree. We had a Jeep a long time ago, a JL, that had those two mixed together, and the engine said goodbye and left the chat. So do not do a cold air intake that has a very open filter and then plan on submerging that very deep, because it's not gonna end too well. In my opinion, if you want a cold air intake, a true cold air intake, spend a little bit more and go with the snorkel. The snorkel does serve 2 purposes. It's gonna get you colder and cleaner air, but then it's also gonna, if you go pretty deep in water, it's gonna prevent that from coming into that intake that's at the lower point. For me, I have a 2-liter turbo. If I was gonna do anything to help increase the throttle response, it'd be one of those throttle programmers, but not a cold air intake. I'm gonna leave it the exact way it's set up for now. Number 3, buying the wrong size tire. And I don't mean buying the wrong size rim size for the rim that you're trying to put it on. I mean buying a smaller tire because it's what you can fit versus the tire size that you want or you will end up with. I'm guilty of this. I've bought a set of 35s, eventually knowing I was going to 37s. And then a few months later, I add the lift and now I have to sell those 35s that I just bought, just mounted, balanced, paid to have everything done. So I would say if you guys are looking for a tire size, if you want to go to 40s, if you know you're going to 37s, whatever that would be, wait until you get the lift kit on there. Don't just try and make it look cool for the time being. I know we all want to, I'm impatient as well, but go for the right size tire if you know you're going to end up at that point. You want to buy once and cry once, and tires are not cheap, so spend the money the first time, get the right lift kit, and add on that perfect size tire for your build. Number 2 is going to be wiring a single switch inside the cab of your JL or Gladiator. In the recent years, we have been very fortunate to have a ton of switch systems available for the JL and Gladiator, including factory auxiliary switches, S-Pods, aux beam, rough country. A lot of people make switch systems that you only need to run the switch panel inside the vehicle. These switch panels give you access to pre-fused power that already has all of your relays, everything under the hood, and it's very easy to connect accessories. I personally would, unless I had an older Jeep that I was just putting one switch in, I probably would never run one single relay with a switch inside the cab to drill the hole and have to run everything in and out. It is so much cheaper, so much easier, and so much more efficient to get a switch panel, make sure that it's run properly, and then just run all your accessory positive and negatives right underneath the hood. I have the auxiliary switches in my Jeep from the factory, but there are a ton of great options for you to get out there and a ton of different price points. I'll leave a link in the description of one that I've heard works pretty well, direct from Amazon. All right guys, number 1, please don't hate me, please don't cancel me for this, Jeep community. This all depends on how you plan on using your Jeep, which like I said, all these are subjective, but I would say number 1 is probably the Extreme Recon package. Dun dun dun. I know I added it to my Jeep. I tell a ton of people to add it to theirs, and I would say there is a great purpose for it if you don't plan on ripping off the suspension, ripping off the wheels and tires, and eventually re-gearing your Jeep. I added the Extreme Recon onto mine, thinking, like I do every other time, I'll probably leave this one kind of stock for now. Right away, installed the Clayton 3.5-inch lift, 37s on beadlocks, and basically removed most of the things that came with the Extreme Recon package. The only thing I've really got left would be the 456 gearing in the axles, the bigger brakes, and the hinge gate tire reinforcement, as well as a couple increased strength brackets. But overall, was that worth the $4,000? That's kind of subjective right there. I would say the biggest value with that package is the fact that you can resell the tires pretty well, the wheels and tires in a package. Those go for about $3,000 to $3,500, whereas the Rubicon standard wheels and tires only go for $1,000 to $1,500 depending on where you're from. There's good value in it, and if you do not plan on ripping everything off, it is a great package that's fully covered under warranty and looks really badass right out of the gate. For me, I don't know if I would have done it again. I ripped everything off, and I'll probably go to bigger gearing, if not different axles down the road. So I don't know if I would have added the Extreme Recon for the little bit of benefits after I've ripped everything off. This one's very controversial, but I would say if you're looking to only go up to a 37 max, or you're not planning to rip the wheels and tires and suspension off, it's a great package. If not, I probably wouldn't do it again. All right guys, well, I appreciate you watching this video. This is some of the probably the mods that I wouldn't do again. Once again, these are all very subjective. So everything that I went over today are things that you might like to do on your Jeep, and I'm not gonna knock you for doing any of that, because at the end of the day, it's your vehicle, you're making the payment on it, and I do not want you to think that I want you to build your Jeep exactly how you want to. A little bit more about the channel. The last video that we dropped absolutely blew up. You guys loved the 23 versus waiting on a potential 24 refresh, and we're excited for it too. So thanks for all the comments, all the likes, and all the support. We had that video shared all over the place. Thank you so much for following along and really giving us and this channel the support that I love to see. This last video, we had about 70%, 77% were not subscribed, and then 22.6% were subscribed. So if you guys are not locked into this channel yet, it would mean the world to Ryan and I. It would almost be like a late Christmas gift that you forget to give your uncle or aunt that lives far away. This would be the gift that you could give back to us. We've got a ton of cool content coming. We're excited for 2023, and we would love to have you supporting us throughout that journey. Until next time, I'll catch you on the trail. all these outros. Yeah. Until next time though, my name is Matt with Dirt Road CRED. Get out there and earn yours.